Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin. I am a pediatric sleep consultant and owner of the Happy Sleep Company. Thanks so much to LOULOU Lollipop for having me on today. I'm really excited to answer all of your baby and toddler sleep questions over the next couple of hours. A little bit about me and about us. Again, I am the founder of the Happy Sleep Company and a child sleep consultant. I'm based in Ottawa, Canada, but my team and I work with families all over the globe to be working with them one-on-one to help their babies get better sleep, to be getting their bigger, longer chunks of sleep at night and their nice, long, restful naps during the day. So you can follow us on Instagram here. You can swipe up if you want to find out more about our services and our free 20-minute phone consultations if you're wanting to chat about your child's sleep. We have a podcast called Sleep Cues, the Everything Baby Sleep podcast, so you can check that out on Apple and Spotify. And now we're going to get started answering your questions from the question boxes that have been posted the last couple of days. It's a great question to start with because we're talking about getting routines in place from day one. So doing a bedtime routine, bath, pajamas, feed, story, and then making everything dark and quiet and in the crib by 8:30, 9 o'clock at this age can really help. I love talking about wake times because they are so important to baby's sleep. Yes, they might need to be adjusted a little bit, like maybe 15 minutes less if baby's going through a leap or some kind of change, but normally we stay pretty close to the same for your baby's age. We want to start by determining first why baby is having short naps, and often it's because they're overtired. So going back to the note about awake times, make sure you're really respecting age-appropriate awake times, because if your baby's overtired going down for the nap, often the nap will be short. I am generally a very big fan of wake, eat, play, sleep. It can promote better nutrition and better sleep when baby's not always falling asleep on the breast or bottle. But in the newborn stage, really don't beat yourself up if your child's falling asleep on a feed. It happens. Normally regressions only last about 1 to 2 weeks, and I also recommend that parents wait around a week or two of seeing changes in their baby's sleep patterns before they make a big nap transition. So you should be able to get through that regression if that's what it was before you make the transition. If baby's always taking very short naps or waking up as soon as you put them into the crib, then this might be where we want to start working on some independent sleep habits and teaching your little one how to go into the crib awake so that he can use his own sleep skills to get to sleep and have longer naps. Let me expand on that because this is where we're talking about what sleep coaching actually is. When a family comes to us and says, my baby will only take tiny naps, won't sleep in his crib at all, is waking up multiple times at night, we're way out of the newborn stage, I thought things would be looking a little easier at this point and they're still really hard with sleep and he's not getting good rest and we're not getting good rest, this is where we might want to look at sleep coaching. So what is sleep coaching? It means teaching your little one how to go into his crib awake and fall asleep using his own sleep skills rather than using what we often refer to as sleep props to get your baby to sleep. So rather than feeding to sleep, holding to sleep, rocking to sleep, replacing a pacifier to go back to sleep, these types of things, now we're removing those things and teaching baby independent sleep skills. This is the goal in sleep coaching. But sleep coaching is a big change for your child, and it does not need to mean cry it out, where you just leave your baby alone in a crib to cry by himself until he goes to sleep. Your baby is now going through a big change if we're teaching independent sleep skills. He needs to be able to hear your voice and feel your touch and have a hug if he needs a hug. And those are all things that we build into plans for our clients or that we suggest you build into your plan if you're doing sleep coaching on your own. You want to have a plan because that's how you're going to be consistent, is if you've come up with a step-by-step plan that you're comfortable with and you'll be consistent about. Some sleep coaching techniques might involve like a timed check-in approach where you're leaving but you're checking back on your little one. It might involve a stay in the room approach where you're with your baby the whole time he goes to sleep. But the nuances are really important. You know, how long you're going to leave for, how long you're comfortable with that, how long you're going to go back in the room for, what are you going to do when you go back in the room or not do. These are the things you want to decide in advance so you're consistent. Generally, children sharing a room goes just fine as long as they're both really good sleepers and have independent sleep habits. If, for example, your infant isn't quite an independent sleeper yet and still wakes during the night or has a tough time napping, you might want to do some sleep coaching before you make that transition. And solutions to short naps are usually awake time and sleep props. So getting awake times just right and ensuring baby's not overtired and removing the sleep props and teaching him independent sleep skills is usually what is going to extend those naps. Here's the deal with short naps. Let's use the 45-minute nap as an example because it's a perfect example of what happens when baby's dependent on sleep props. 45 minutes is one sleep cycle for your baby. So say I use the sleep prop of rocking my baby until he's asleep and then I put him in the crib. I've done that. I've walked away. He's asleep in the crib. And 45 minutes later, every single time my baby wakes up, what is happening? What's happening is your baby's gone through one sleep cycle. And near the end of it, around the 30 to 45 minute mark, he's in a lighter stage of sleep, trying to transition into his next sleep cycle. He's rustling, he's stirring, his eyelids are fluttering a little bit. But then he wakes up fully and he's like, whoa, bam, this is not where I went to sleep. I was in someone's arms when I went to sleep. This isn't how I went to sleep. I had a pacifier in my mouth and now it's way over there in the other side of the crib. I don't know how to go back to sleep in this scenario. So once we teach baby independent sleep skills, put him down awake and he falls asleep. Really try not to get too caught up on the exact number of hours at night as long as baby is having a healthy amount of sleep in a 24-hour period. So at some ages that might mean more daytime sleep and a little less nighttime sleep. This really needs to be a personal decision based on what you're most comfortable with, but if you are comfortable waiting 5 or 10 minutes, many babies will surprise you and go back to sleep in that time, and you're giving them the chance to work on independent sleep skills if you wait a little bit of time before you go over to the crib. 11 months is a pretty transitional age for sleep, and while an 11-month-old still needs 2 naps a day, their schedule probably needs to look different than an 8-month-old. So they probably need a few hours of awake time before their first nap, and even a little more before the other nap and bedtime. Certainly as babies become better nappers, their schedules will get more predictable, but it's really important to remember that just like us, babies are humans and their schedules aren't going to look exactly the same every single day, so I focus more on awake times than on the exact same time on the clock every day. Early morning wake-ups are usually the result of too much awake time before bed or sleep props being used at bedtime. So try to avoid sleep props at bedtime and try to ensure for a 1-year-old around 3.5 hours of awake time before bed. You can start a bedtime routine from day 1 to signal to your child that sleep time is coming up. So a bath or a wipe down, their swaddle or their sleep sack, a feed, a couple of stories and into bed. I'll link a blog here that I wrote for LOULOU Lollipop on this. Your child might just be adjusting. They might be a little bit overtired with all the adjusting to new awake times. So try to make sure your 8-month-old is not up for more than 3 hours before bed. And if still experiencing night wakes, you might want to go back to 3 naps for a little while. I recommend that you focus on naps and nights at the same time when you're looking at sleep coaching. So whatever approach you're deciding to take for nights, take that for naps too, so that your baby's not confused. This is a great question because there are some really specific things you can do to set up your child's sleep environment so that it's conducive to sleep. I always recommend dark, quiet, no distractions. So when I say dark, I mean super duper dark. Blackout blinds covered by blackout curtains, so it's super duper dark and there aren't street lights coming in distracting your baby from going to sleep at bedtime or sunlight shimmering in distracting your baby from nap time. So really, really dark. Avoid distractions like toy fishy aquariums attached to the side of your child's crib. We just want to make the crib for sleep. So a nice clean empty crib with a fitted sheet and your child in a sleep bag. I love sleep bags. They are an excellent cue to help your child understand it's time for sleep. And quiet is good. So you don't have to use a sound machine for your child to learn to sleep well, but if you do live on a busy street or have a pet or another child making noise during nap time, sound machine is not a bad idea. Just keep it on a white noise or a rain setting and on continuously through the nap. The third nap is absolutely not a must for a 7-month-old. Most children are ready to drop to 2 naps somewhere between 7 and 8 months. So you'll have to see when your child is showing signs that they can handle more awake time, and then they will drop that third nap between 7 and 8 months. Okay, that is it for me for today. We do offer free 20-minute phone consultations. So if you want to talk more about your child's sleep and get some advice and support, you can swipe up here and there's a link to schedule a free 20-minute phone consultation. We're on Instagram offering almost daily sleep tips. So check us out at the Happy Sleep Company. We have our podcast, Sleep Cues, the Everything Baby Sleep podcast. You can swipe up here for that. We just released a new episode today. And you can check us out at thehappysleepcompany.com if you want free resources, blogs, if you want to look at our sleep guides. There's loads of information there to get sleep on track. Thanks so much again to LOULOU LOLLIPOP for having me on, and I hope everybody has a great day. Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Younger. I am a pediatric sleep consultant.